Before you sign anything, let me show you exactly what 6 years of your secrets are worth. What are you doing?
Before you sign anything, let me show you exactly what 6 years of your secrets are worth.
The two Dobermans started barking at the same time. 2 in the morning. A penthouse on the 73rd floor, overlooking the Han River. The dogs always knew, before she did, they'd start up just before she was about to cry. Adela Okonjo didn't cry. Instead, she picked up her champagne glass. The 6 candles on their anniversary cake were melting down to nothing. Kang Junhyuk still wasn't home. Their 6th anniversary, the 6th night she'd spent alone.
Tonight is different. Tonight it ends.
Her hand moved toward the inside pocket of a jacket, the one her husband had left draped over the chair the night before. Her fingertips touched something cold and metal, a single key. The Dobermans went quiet. The front door was opening.
You're still up?
His tie was hanging loose. On his shirt collar, so faint you could almost miss it, there was a smudge. Lipstick. Adela's lipstick was nude beige. That was deep rose.
It's our anniversary.
Meeting ran long. Sorry.
The man saying sorry didn't look at the cake. Didn't look at her either. Just scrolled through his phone. Once. Twice. 3 times.
6 years. I've been looking at this face for 6 years.
Adela took a sip of her champagne. It tasted bitter. It was the same bottle that had always been sweet. After Kang Junhyuk disappeared into the bathroom, Adela took out the key, a small brass key. A tag was attached to the end, with an address stamped into the metal somewhere in Nanhyundong, Gangnam, less than a mile from where they lived in Samsungdongs. Less than a mile, a 15-minute walk. In 6 years of marriage, Adela had never crossed that 15-minute distance. Tonight, for the first time, she put on her shoes.
Go ahead and bark. Bark all you want.
The Dobermans started up again. They'd heard her open the front door and walk out. The dogs always knew. They could tell when their owner wasn't coming back that night. Unit 301 in the Nanhyundong building. The key fit perfectly. When the door swung open, Adela laughed. Not because she was sad, because it all made too much sense. The apartment was decorated exactly to her taste. Or more precisely, the taste she'd spent 6 years teaching him. An ivory linen sofa, a monstera plant, a bergamot candle. Kang Junhyuk had wanted the same woman in this place, too. A woman with perfect taste, just with a different name. On the nightstand was a framed photo. Kang Junhyuk and a woman, both beaming. Adela looked at the woman's face for a long moment. She recognized her.
Park Seo-yeon,
head of internal audit at Kang Junhyuk Group. A woman Adela had shaken hands with at least 20 times over 6 years of company events. The woman who always said, "You look absolutely stunning, ma'am." Adela set the photo back down on the nightstand. Not a thing out of place angled exactly as it had been. Then she took out her phone and started photographing everything in the apartment. The sofa, the candle, the nightstand, the photo, the bedroom, the papers in the drawer. 3 in the morning. Adela Okonjo's 6 years were over, and something else had just begun. The next morning, Adela got up at exactly the same time she always did. 6:30. Cold-pressed orange juice, grain-free toast, an Americano for her husband, 2 cups of kibble for each of the Dobermans. Kang Junhyuk came down to the kitchen at 7 on the dot, buttoning his dress shirt as he walked. What happened the night before existed for neither of them, as if it had never happened at all.
Today's the day you go see my mother, right?
Yes, we're meeting at 2.
While he drank his coffee, Adela straightened his tie, something she'd done every morning for 6 years. Her fingers came close to his neck. He looked at his phone. One of the Dobermans pressed its nose against Kang Junhyuk's leg. He didn't look down. Han Jung-suk's house sat at the top of a hill in Seongbuk-dong. The pine tree by the front gate was over 60 years old, and the air inside always smelled of a garwood incense. After 6 years, Adela still hadn't gotten used to this house. She'd only gotten better at pretending she had.
You're here.
It wasn't a greeting. It was a check. Han Jung-suk always spoke to Adela that way, as if every visit were somehow in doubt.
Mother, I came today because there's something I need to tell you.
The sound of a teacup being set down. Han Jong-suk's hand paused for just a moment.
Something to tell me.
Adela reached into her handbag and pulled out an envelope. She placed it on the table. White envelope. Inside a photograph. The Non-Hyundong apartment. The key. A photo of Park Seo-yeon and Kang Jun-hyuk. Han Jong-suk didn't open the envelope. She didn't need to.
How much do you want?
Adela would remember for a long time that it took less than 3 seconds for those words to come out.
This isn't the first time you've tried to pay me off, is it, Mother?
Silence. Just the smell of incense.
It was 2 months after the wedding. You had 500 million won wired into my account. Keep things quiet, you said. I took it, and I never touched a single cent of it.
And?
Do you know where that money is right now, Mother?
Han Jong-suk's teacup shifted. Just slightly, but Adela caught it.
It's sitting in a public trust account for a Kang Jun-hyuk Group Minority Shareholder Coalition. 6 years of interest included. In my name.
For the first time, Han Jong-suk looked at Adela. Really looked at her. In 60-some years on this earth, she was meeting this woman's eyes head-on for the very first time.
What do you want?
Nothing yet, but you'll find out soon enough.
Adela tucked the envelope back into her handbag. She stood, put on her coat, and bowed to Han Jong-suk at exactly 30 degrees, the angle she'd spent 6 years learning. Her phone rang as she was walking down the hill in Seongbuk-dong. She didn't recognize the number. She answered anyway.
Is this Adela Akonjo? My name is Jo Mi-rae. I'm an attorney with the law firm that represents the Kang family exclusively.
Adela stopped walking.
I thought it was right for me to reach out first, before you make your next move.
Whose side are you on, Counselor?
A brief pause.
Neither sides. Not yet. That's why I'm calling.
Adela looked down the hill at a cafe. Through the glass, a woman was sitting alone, a stack of documents in front of her. Her coffee looked like it had gone cold a while ago. Jo Mi-rae didn't wave. Adela was the one who pushed the door open first. Adela's name was on top of the stack of papers on Jo Mi-rae's table.
Are you familiar with Article 3, Section 7 of your prenuptial agreement?
The clause that changes the asset division formula if infidelity is proven.
Jo Mi-rae's expression shifted for the first time. She was surprised.
I had plenty of time to read it. 6 years worth.
Can you prove it?
Adela took out her phone and set it on the table. The photos from Non-Hyundong the night before filled the screen. Jo Mi-rae went through them one by one. Her face went rigid.
This alone won't be enough. The problem is that Park Seo-yeon is head of internal audit. Her fingerprints are all over sensitive company documents. If you go after her, it's not just Jun-hyuk who gets hurt.
The whole company goes down.
Both women reached for their coffee cups at the same moment. Both set them back down at the same moment.
Give me some time.
1 month.
2 months.
6 weeks.
Jo Mi-rae smiled for the first time. Small, brief, but Adela liked it. The 6 weeks began. On the outside, Adela's days looked no different. 6:30 every morning. Cold-pressed juice. Toast. Americano. 2 cups of kibble for each dog. Straightening Kang Jun-hyuk's tie. But the nights had changed. After her husband fell asleep, Adela opened the back section of the walk-in closet. Bottom shelf. Behind the winter coats, a box of documents. 6 years' worth. She'd been collecting since the very first night of their marriage. She didn't fully understand why at the time. She just did it, like instinct.
I already knew. I knew from the very beginning.
Inside the box was this. 12 copies of board meeting minutes from Kang Jun-hyuk Group. Papers Jun-hyuk had let slip off the table during drunken dinners, and Adela had quietly picked up and copied. They documented money flowing out through a Singapore subsidiary. 3 internal audit reports signed off on by Park Seo-yeon. Reports where the numbers didn't add up. Adela was good with numbers. She'd majored in accounting back in Nigeria. Nobody had ever thought to ask. And 22 printed email screenshots she'd taken of Jun Hyuk's personal laptop whenever he stepped away. All sent from S, Park KJ Group, Kai, Park Seo-yeon's work email.
6 years. I spent 6 years playing the perfect wife, and the whole time I was the perfect record keeper too.
3 days later, Kang Jun-hyuk made his move first.
Adela, I've been running on empty lately. What if we took a break from each other for a while?
They were at the dinner table. That was the best he could come up with for a woman he'd lived with for 6 years.
A break.
Work's been brutal. I don't want you to have to deal with my stress.
Adela didn't put down her fork. She cut into her steak. Slowly. Deliberately.
Where would you be staying?
The company guest house.
The lie came out smooth as silk. 6 years of practice will do that.
Understood. Would you like me to pack your things?
Kang Jun-hyuk froze. He'd expected tears, pleading. Instead, he watched, blank-faced, as his wife speared a piece of steak and put it in her mouth. That Friday, Han Jung-suk came to the penthouse herself. She didn't ring the doorbell. She had a key. She'd kept a key to this home for 6 years. It had bothered Adela the entire time, but she'd never once said a word about it.
So Jun-hyuk's gone.
Yes, Mother.
Good. This is your chance. Let's just get this wrapped up. I'll help.
Adela brought out tea. The bamboo leaf blend Han Jung-suk liked, a preference she'd memorized over 6 years.
3 billion won in settlement. An apartment in Gangnam. And then you leave this country.
Adela wrapped both hands around her teacup. It was warm.
Mother,
Yes.
can I keep the dogs?
Han Jung-suk's eyes narrowed.
I'm kidding. What I actually came to say is something else.
Adela laid a single sheet of paper on the table. Rows and rows of figures. Han Jung-suk's eyes moved slowly down the page, top to bottom, then back up again. Her hands began to tremble. The teacup knocked against its saucer. A small, sharp sound.
Where did you get this?
When you spend 6 years being the perfect wife, you see a lot of things, Mother. And I have an excellent memory.
How about that, folks? The woman got offered the equivalent of roughly $2 million to walk away, and she came back with a joke about the dogs. Adela isn't running on rage. What she's been doing, in today's terms, is called strategic patience. She wasn't just holding on. She was getting ready. The table is about to turn. The Kang Jun-hyuk Group 30th Anniversary Gala. The first Saturday of November. Venue Grand Ballroom at the Hyatt in Hanam-dong. 60 tables, 500 guests. A champagne tower stacked nearly to the ceiling. The Kang Jun-hyuk Group always spent money this way. Big, flashy, and impossible to see inside. Adela arrived at 7 o'clock sharp. Her dress was black. The neckline sat right in the middle, not too deep, not too modest. Her earrings were the diamonds Kang Jun-hyuk had given her on their first anniversary. The only one in 6 years where he'd actually showed up on time.
One last time. Just get through today.
The ballroom was already packed. The moment Adela walked in, heads turned. She'd learned to handle that over 6 years. The acting chairman's wife, beautiful foreigner, flawless Korean, perfect smile, perfect dress. Tonight was perfect too. For the last time.
You made it.
He handed her a glass of champagne. She took it, didn't drink. The two of them stood side by side, a position they'd held hundreds of times over 6 years. In front of camera's guests, his mother. Park Seo-yeon was at a table across the room, the one marked with her nameplate as head of audit. Her eyes met Adela's. Park Seo-yeon looked away first, dipping her head. Adela sent back a smile, the one she'd spent 6 years perfecting. 8 o'clock. Kang Jun-hyuk took the microphone. He was polished up there. Low, steady voice. 30 years of company history. His late father's vision. Gratitude for the employees. And at the end, one line about his wife.
I also want to thank my wife Adela, who is here with us tonight. She has stood quietly by my side for 6 years.
Applause broke out. Adela rose from her seat and bowed 30 degrees exactly. The angle Han Jung-suk had taught her.
Quietly. Right. That's what I did.
Her phone buzzed inside her clutch. Jo Mire. One line of text. Ready? Adela flipped the phone face down, picked up her champagne glass. This time she drank. 8:47. On the massive screen at the front of the ballroom, a video celebrating 30 years of Kang Jun-hyuk Group began to roll. The founding, the growth, the exports, the awards, beautiful numbers. Then, at the 4-minute and 12-second mark, the video stopped. Something else came up. Numbers. A different kind of numbers. Money funneled through a Singapore subsidiary. Dates. Amounts. Names of who signed off. Park Seo-yeon. Kang Jun-hyuk. Stamps. The ballroom went silent. Even the clink of champagne glasses stopped. 500 people held their breath.
What the hell is that? Kill it, now!
But the next slide came up anyway. Email screenshots. Park Jae Group. KR. Recipient Kang Jun-hyuk's personal email. The message was 3 lines. Short and direct, the way people write when they think they'll never get caught. Park Seo-yeon stood up from her chair, then sat back down, then stood up again. The screen kept going. Kang Jun-hyuk's eyes searched for Adela. She was standing in the center of the ballroom, champagne glass still in hand, watching the faces of the 500 people watching the screen. She wasn't crying. She wasn't shaking.
You did this?
Adela looked at him. For the first time in 6 years, she looked at him straight on.
Without you, this company is finished, and so am I. That was the email you sent Park Seo-yeon yesterday.
The color drained out of Kang Jun-hyuk's face.
You're right, Jun-hyuk. This company could fall apart without you. So let's talk for real. This time,
500 people were listening. The top glass of the champagne tower swayed, just barely. Kang Jun-hyuk got down on his knees. You could hear the fabric of his dress pants crumpling. That sound carried through the entire ballroom. Adela looked down at him. For the first time in 6 years, she was standing above this man.
6 years. It took 6 years.
Jo Mi-rae was standing at the ballroom entrance. She was holding a briefcase. Dress slacks, white blouse. No earrings. She was dressed like someone who came here to work.
Good timing.
Only because you put everything in place.
Now the real work starts. You ready?
Adela placed her champagne glass on a passing waiter's tray. She'd barely touched it.
I've been ready for 6 years.
The 2 women walked out of the ballroom. Behind them, the noise swelled. Someone was crying. Whether it was Park Seo-yeon, Han Jung-suk, or Kang Jun-hyuk, Adela didn't look back to find out. The Dobermans didn't bark that night. Their owner had come home smiling. The morning after the gala, Kang Jun-hyuk Group's stock dropped 11%. There were 3 headlines in the business news. First, allegations of fund transfers through a Singapore subsidiary. Second, Park Seo-yeon, head of internal audit, removed from her position. Third, demands for a public statement from acting chairman Kang Jun-hyuk. Adela read those headlines in the penthouse kitchen, drinking her cold-pressed orange juice. The 2 Dobermans were sitting at her feet. She didn't make Kang Jun-hyuk's Americano. She wouldn't be needing to anymore.
Now it really starts.
Negotiations began in a law firm conference room 3 days later. On one side of the table, Kang Jun-hyuk and 3 of his attorneys. On the other side, just Adela and Jo Mi-rae. The numbers weren't even, but the weight of the paperwork was a different story. Kang Jun-hyuk's lead attorney pushed an envelope across the table first.
50 billion won in settlement, transfer of title to the Cheongdam penthouse, and a mutual non-disclosure agreement.
Jo Mi-rae didn't open the envelope.
Our client has no interest in a settlement payment.
For the first time, Kang Jun-hyuk spoke up.
Then what the hell does she want?
Adela looked at him. 3 seconds.
6 years, itemized. Sign here, Chairman.
Jo Mi-rae spread the documents out on the table. The documents contained 2 things. First, an 8% equity stake in Kang Jun-hyuk Group ordinary shares, to be held solely in the name of Adela Okonjo. Fair compensation for the brand value she'd single-handedly built by planning and managing the group's international events over 6 years. Jo Mi-rae had backed it up with numbers. 12 pages of them. Second, full independent operating rights to the Adela Okonjo beauty brand, a global beauty line she'd built on her own over the past 3 years, under the Kang Jun-hyuk Group name. Southeast Asian revenue alone came to 20 billion won annually. Nobody had known it was Adela who'd built it. Not even Kang Jun-hyuk.
8% equity is insane.
Compared to the amount moved through the Singapore subsidiary, it's actually quite modest, Chairman.
Kang Jun-hyuk's attorneys exchanged looks. Adela read those looks. She'd been reading the faces of this family for 6 years.
They're exhausted, all of them.
The negotiation took 4 hours. Kang Jun-hyuk stormed out twice and came back twice. Han Jung-suk called in the middle of it all. Jo Mi-rae answered and ended the call in 3 sentences. At 4 in the afternoon, the last signature went down. You could hear Kang Jun-hyuk set down his pen. A small sound, but in that conference room, it was loud. Adela went through the documents 1 page at a time. Slowly, carefully. Jo Mi-rae checked alongside her.
It's done.
Adela nodded. She didn't look at Kang Jun-hyuk. There was no reason to. He wasn't the center of this story anymore. When they stepped out of the building, a November wind hit them. Cold and clean. Adela closed her eyes for a moment. She didn't pull her coat collar up. She just let it come.
How do you feel?
I don't know yet. Not really.
That's exactly right.
The 2 women walked side by side, without a word. 1 block, then another.
Counselor.
Yeah.
Have you eaten?
Jo Mi-rae laughed. The same laugh from the cafe, that first day, small and quick, but completely real.
I haven't eaten a thing since this morning.
Me neither.
The 2 women ducked into a little gukbap diner tucked in an alley. It was the first time Adela had ever eaten a bowl of beef soup still wearing a gala gown. It was better than she'd expected. 3 months later, a small showroom opened in an alley in Sinsadong, Gangnam. The sign was simple white background, black letters. Adela O. 3 words. Nothing flashy. But the night before it opened, her Instagram gained 30,000 new followers overnight. Opening day, 6 in the morning. Adela was alone inside the showroom. Nobody else had arrived yet. She wiped down the display glass, adjusted the angle of each product. Then she stood by the door. The 2 Dobermans were sitting in the corner. A small sticker on the glass door. This was a pet-friendly shop, registered with the City of Seoul.
This is my name. It always was.
She opened the door. The same November wind came in cold and clean, just like before. The Dobermans wagged their tails. They didn't bark. There was nothing to bark about today. Adela Okonjo didn't lose 6 years. She spent 6 years collecting. Receipts instead of resentment. Numbers instead of tears. Time instead of resignation. And in the end, she opened a door with nothing but her own name, no borrowed last name, no title of wife attached. What is it really that this story is trying to tell us? People can prepare even from the places that look like they're falling apart. The things we build quietly in the years when no one is watching. When no one even thinks to ask those things have a way of coming back around and standing on your side when you need them most. Just as Adela spent 6 years playing a perfect wife while holding on to herself on the inside, maybe the place we're standing right now isn't the end of the road. Maybe it's the preparation. Because a life built on lies can't hold its own weight forever. And what's been built with care and truth will find its light, no matter how long it takes. This story is a work of fiction. End.